worst bit about Jim Morrison is his dad started Vietnam War.
How did that happen?
He was in the battle of something in the Gulf of somewhere.
You got it written down?
No. I've got written down that he started Vietnam War, but I didn't write down the actual reasons.
Okay.
It's on Wikipedia. It's called like George Stephen Morrison, and he started Vietnam War.
What did he do?
He was an admiral.
Right. No, but what did...
So it's quite high ranking, isn't it?
No, what action did he take?
Well, probably blew some people up in the Gulf.
But he started the Vietnam War.
In some Gulf. Yeah. That's shite, that.
Well, it's not the best start, is it? If your dad's gone as well.
No.
And what was his mum like?
His mum was just sort of very compliant and sort of like, you know, how Jim Morrison thought women should be. You know, like he really looked up to her as being this sort of like very sort of matronly, sort of will do everything for you kind of thing. And I think, you know, that informed his sexuality.
Did she just stay at home and take it?
Basically, yeah. And she didn't ever punish him, you know, and didn't spank him because his dad believed in dressing him down.
Just
which
by
means
telling him off.
Shouting at him until he cried.
Right.
So it just sort of, I don't know, I read somewhere like that Jim Morrison as a child, you know, was quite unruly, but in a way that, you know, was a bit snide.
Well,
like not actually like kind of like breaking stuff,
just
but
cruel.
more, yeah.
Good bully.
Yeah, just kind of like very like kind of like condescending. Like, you know, from the day he was born, you know, like especially, but what he would do as well is like he would be sweet as pie when he wanted something. Yeah. So he would sort of flip the switch one way or the other.
Bit of a sociopath sort of fella, really. Even as a kid.
They say he's more complex than that. Yeah.
Who says that? Well, his fans.
Yeah.
Well, of course they do.
Yeah.
There's nothing complex about him, really, is there? He's Homer Simpson, really.
Homer Simpson series.
Simpson in a wig.
Series 1 to 9,
Yeah.
before the film came out.
Yeah. Before they started making him ironic. Before he had a sense of irony. He was just confused.
And like he did, you know, he composed his music in his head without any instruments. That's quite talented, they say. I don't know. Do you think Jim Morrison's quite a nebulous kind of thing?
Yeah.
That you kind of approach him. He's like someone that you'd approach from many angles.
Well, if he was doing it, he'd insist you started at that moment where just before he was about to take his cock out on stage, and then you'd go all the way back to when he was born. You know,
like in one of them films when they do that kind of, you know, building up the suspense of that moment. He said he never actually took his cock out, and all his band said he never did.
Right.
But then everyone in the audience obviously saw it.
Yeah, and he was arrested. You don't get arrested for not taking your cock out, do you?
He got his knob out at school. A lot, yeah. Yeah, he's one of them blokes who, like, you know, he's one of those guys who,
I've got a mate like that.
So Jim Morrison's got a little knob, hasn't he?
He's definitely got a little knob now. It's tiny.
Well, what, now he's dead?
Yeah.
He didn't have much of a knob when he died. He was fat when he was little as well.
Was he?
Yeah, for quite a bit, because like he didn't really care about his appearance because he knew he could get what he wanted anyway. But he got very fat by the time he was like 8, because what he wanted more than anything was like, you know, like kind of crisps. So he would turn on the charm to get them and would just eat loads and like, you know, got really fat. And his dad would shout at him over it. and he'd just sort of like, you know, start crying.
Yeah.
But in a way it was like kind of a way to get attention, you know, like that's how he got love. You know, by being shouted at.
Well, yeah, because he couldn't have got it through his looks. He just got it through his bad behaviour.
His dad was really disappointed being an admiral that he had this like fat lad as his son. Jim Morrison is as he is.
It's, well,
Or was.
It was very tactile.
Yeah.
He'd have to be holding something in his hand.
Always like kind of, yeah. Always rubbing his hand on something.
Something
something that he shouldn't be having.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something real sweet, as he would say. Yeah. Probably.
Always trying to, always reaching for something that he shouldn't be.
Speaking of which, like, everyone knows about that little girl on the bus, don't they? When he was like,
oh, no, I don't know. What's that?
Yeah, you do.
Well, I'm pretending I don't for the sake of you telling the story, because you know about it a little bit. I haven't done any research for this. So.
It's in the I think it's in the Doors film even, probably, but it's in real life. It was like, it was just the same really as in that film. Like he goes up to this girl on the bus, and he sort of says like, "Hey, sweet thing, you want to take a ride on King Snake and broaden your mind?" Like, and all this kind of stuff. That's not advertisement or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That's just, the essence of everything he ever said, really.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty base fella, really, wasn't he? Like,
it's like a pretty, just the whole thing's like just a static man.
Yeah.
But he's got like a constant light show going on in his head.
I guess so, yeah. It's only like a couple of colours though.
Yeah, not many.
Yeah.
Not many shapes. Most of them are all shaped like his hair.
Yeah.
Most are shapes.
And he can't really make them out because his eyes are too close together, even his mind's eye.
Yeah. It must have been really easy for him to open the doors of perception with really small eyes.
It's like a cat flap to perception.
Yeah, so he was talking to a girl on the bus like that, and, like the way he does.
Yeah. Drawl.
Just sort of, I just went up to her and said that. And then he just, she said, she was just, I don't know what she said, but she was scared. Because she's 14 years old and there's this sort of hippie, and I think every hippie is potentially a paedophile, especially in the 1960s.
Yeah.
Because back then it was cool to be a paedophile in a way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people forget that.
Yeah. Not only was it cool, it was acceptable to be a paedophile.
Well, it's like you kind of like, like with people who are like, that term cisgender nowadays. When you're cisgender, you're like kind of what? You're not even thought about being gay. Like back in the 60s, they were really open and like, kind of, what's wrong with having sex with a child, man?
Yeah, do you reckon too open?
Yeah.
And that's the
road
to that.
That's why it all went wrong in the end, probably.
We're not having a go at paedophiles, we're having a go at Jim Morrison.
It's beside the point.
He's not even sophisticated enough to be a paedophile, Jim Morrison. Like, didn't really know what he was doing.
I don't think Jim Morrison would be a paedophile if he was born in today's age. I think it was very much a thing that happened because he was born in the 1960s, and that's part of that cultural milieu.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to trick anyone nowadays. Just be It'd just be stumbling around in a gutter, wouldn't he, really, nowadays?
Looking for, like...
pigeons.
He'd be like one of those, pick-up artists.
Oh, yeah, like Rouge 5.
Yeah. Maybe he'd be like... if he was born to a less upper-class family and born in a decade when... Yeah, he'd be Rouge 5. Except maybe someone who reads Rouge 5 more than actually Rouge 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you took away his Admiral dad who started Vietnam War.
Yeah, Rouge 5's dad didn't start the Vietnam War, did he?
No.
We don't know who he is.
He probably started something though. Yeah. He started Rouge 5.
Yeah. Rouge 4. Whatever he did.
Seldom have we been so slow. Seldom have we been so far. My only wish is to see silk handkerchief.
He's really fat for ages. And
at what age was he fat?
He was fat until from the age of like kind of maybe about 3 years old, which is when he saw the dead Indian that he always goes on about. And
he didn't see a dead Indian though, did he?
His sister said he didn't, but
is she still alive or?
Yeah, she was in a documentary I watched the other day, and she didn't know him when he was in the Doors.
Right. Why?
Because well, it's a long story, really. Like going back to when he was really fat. Like that was from the age of 3, and that might be because he didn't see a dead Indian. You know, it caused him to start. You know, like kind of.
It's like self-harming through food.
Yeah, but you're not really harming yourself if you enjoy it. So like, and so
maybe. I mean, like, you can enjoy pain, can't you? But you actually physically harm yourself.
Yeah, like smoking's really bad for you,
Yeah,
but you
it's
can.
nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. Like.
Was he bullied at school for being fat?
Not really, because he's always had a way to like kind of like you know, like kind of spin things round, you know, so people feel sympathetic towards him.
Mm.
So he would actually like, you know, he'd actually be more likely to, you know, cut you down if you said something.
So,
not in a witty way, though.
No.
More in a way
just
that
a
like.
cruel way.
Yeah, more in a way that he would just sort of like beat you up. But I mean, that, to be fair, we're talking like kind of more aesthetically about him now. You know, like his weight and, you know, like when.
But that's all there is to him, really. Like, how else can you talk about him? He's all surface.
The reason he became he wasn't all surface when he was young. You know, he didn't really care about his appearance. He like, you know, wore the shitty clothes, and you know, he's quite clever in the sense that, you know, he hit puberty a little early, like, you know, 12.
Right. Is that early? Oh, that's not that early, is it?
Yeah.
That's the kind of type of thing he'd brag about, though, like he'd been a man for 1,000 years. Or
yeah, I don't know why I know that, you know, but obviously he hit puberty at 12. He must have said it somewhere at some point.
Yeah.
He hit puberty on his 12th birthday.
Probably in one of his poems.
Yeah, maybe it was 11, you know, like, but no, it can't be. See, he would have said then. He would have said 11, you know, rather than 12.
Yeah.
And he looked right into, you know, he looked in the mirror when he, you know, was thinking about hitting puberty or had hit puberty, and like, you know, he.
But like looking in the mirror trying to hit puberty.
So then he ended up hitting puberty eventually. But before he hit puberty, what happened was he changed his sort of interests, as you do, because like the girls around him, they were, you know, getting more developed and stuff, and he was, you know, all his testosterone. You know, everyone knows all this. You know, it happens to a lot of people, doesn't it? Not saying it happened to me or anything. It didn't. Like, it happens to a lot of young men. How old was he when he died? 27.
I don't know. Is he one of them?
That's what they say, or that's what he said.
He looks older though, doesn't he? He looks well old. Like
he looks older than us, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jim Morrison looks 40.
Yeah.
He looks like Gary Cole a bit.
Who's Gary Cole?
The bloke who plays the boss out of like Office Space.
Oh yeah. I think he looks like the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop.
He does look like him. He doesn't look like Gary Cole's much more like unique looking, whereas Jim Morrison you'd sort of pass on the street. So yeah, so I was just trying to mathematically work out how long he'd been pubic.
Right.
So you got from the age of 13 to the age of 40, so it's like 27 years.
That's funny, isn't it?
Which is funny, yeah.
Yeah.
So, wow. No, so that's how people are actually saying, like, he's 27. That's when the real Jim Morrison arrived.
Well, that's how he'd count it, so that's probably right. He'll try and disregard his fat childhood and just say that he was...
So, the real date of Jim Morrison's birth, you know, would be 13 years after his, like, false birth of just the fat Jim Morrison. The fat Jim Morrison was, like, the embryonic... larval stage of Jim Morrison.
Yeah, like a Pokemon level 1 Jim Morrison. With like the same eyes, same like blinking eyes of a bat, but without the upgrade of the shit hair and beard thing, and
a little pair of Converse sneakers on it, like a little fat blob with some Converse 50 sneakers and like a pair of glasses or something.
With like two big fists walking around beating people up. That was his only power.
And a bag of crisps. Strapped to his back like a backpack.
Yeah, and then one day it jizzes and turns into level 2 Morrison.
Jizzes.
Lot of electric problems. Adolf Hitler is still alive.
There's that rumour about him who burnt the school down, but I don't think that was true, was it?
Was that early Jim Morrison?
Pre-pubes.
Like Jim Morrison, it's interesting when he burnt the school down, as they say, but like his quote on it is like it was like kind of like it was like a wave of fire, like erupting, you know.
It's like an anti-establishment sort of thing.
Yeah, but it's kind of described like he describes it as volcanic.
Really?
Yeah, like a volcanic eruption. It's in one of his poetry books, you know, like American Screams or something.
Yeah.
Light My Fire. Yeah. Is that what that's about as well?
It's not about anything, that, is it?
Is it just about his balls again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, baby, light my fire. I liked Will Young's cover of that, was good, wasn't it?
Not heard that. Is he taking the piss out of it?
No, he's well into it.
Ah.
He's alright though, isn't he, Will Young?
I've not listened to that. He did that Harvest album. What put me off Will Young is, and the Grateful Dead, and most of the hippies in general, or people had classes pre-punk.
Will Young's not a hippie though, is he?
He's around then, you know, 1975, isn't he? Neil Young is why punk didn't happen.
I meant Will Young though, you know, from Pop Idol.
Oh, I thought you meant Neil Young.
Yeah, no. Will Young.
Did you say Neil Young, though?
No, I said Will Young.
Right. Maybe there's a connection, but yeah, he's good in Will Young.
Yeah.
No, I like Will Young.
Yeah.
I think he started writing songs and poetry from a very young age when he was pre-Jim Morrison. Mm. But like they weren't really very good, and he didn't do a lot of them. You know, but he liked a book.
Yeah.
You know, mostly because there wasn't a lot on back then on the telly.
In the 50s.
No. If you look at his lyrics, to give him credit, there isn't many pop culture references in there. Or any. It's all like old books.
It's all just like
there's no reference to Note really, is there?
No. Is there any like names or anything?
No.
It's like
there's city names, you know, like going on LAC, I'm going to Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, like there's all that. I'm not going to sing. But yeah, I don't know what's that got to do with Jim Morrison, really. Well,
it's sort of like the opposite of Jim Morrison, because he wouldn't have the self-awareness to give up when he was doing something shit.
No, that's the later stage of Jim Morrison, you know, the third, because you have the embryonic, you know, stage one.
You've got Fat Jim Morrison.
And you got School Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
Which is him when he's a bit more, he sort of tones up.
Yeah.
And becomes a bit more...
And then you've got Fat Jim Morrison again.
Would you say that you got Fat Jim Morrison at the end, so you kind of like, you know, like when an old person becomes like a baby.
Yeah.
And then he just sort of, you know, died a natural death in a bath. You know, like, because that's natural for that kind of creature.
Yeah, like the gills close.
Mm. It's like when a cat, you know, like gets ill, they just go and hide in a box or something. You know, he just lay in a bath.
That's probably the most honourable thing he did in his whole life. Just
died.
Closed his gills. Yeah. Just thought, fuck this.
He had a lot to... I mean, we'll probably get into like the sort of horrible thing he did.
Which one?
The thing, you know, towards the end later.
Yeah.
The really bad stuff that he did like later on.
Yeah.
But you know, just to kind of build a narrative in which he's, you know, sympathetic.
Yeah.
You know, he really liked touching tits.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, so that was he firmed up and like
in order to touch more tits.
Yeah, because he realised that like, but then at the age of 14 he started to pretend he had a brain tumour.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like, and he did it first time to get out of class. He was just like stood up and went like, "I'm going away. I got a brain tumor," and then like that was before he took LSD and stuff. So he didn't talk like he did when he was older. He talked more like Ted Bundy or someone. Yeah. Like proper threw his pen down on the floor like that, and went like, "I've got a brain tumor. I'm going."
Yeah.
It was just because he was in an English class and they were talking about a lady writer that he didn't like.
He wasn't into that.
He's not into any lady writers.
No.
Like, they were talking about some lady writer. Probably Mary Shelley.
Maybe.
Flannery O'Connor, perhaps. Yeah. He's my favourite one. She's really good, yeah. So, you didn't like Flannery O'Connor, which is bad.
Yeah.
But... So he had the
Why
brain
would he
tumor.
though, really? It kind of goes against his whole thing of just been there to be consumed.
Yeah, like his mum.
Yeah.
Like he just saw his mum as some giant like cookie provider.
Just a big tit in the sky.
Yeah. And so it's just kind of like...
Can't really see what you're doing there. That's just an eyes.
Just like two nipples just squirting milk down, full of like sugar.
No, just one big, like icing bag boob.
No, just going.
Yeah, that's his man.
Is this Dobbs?
Could be Dobbs. Sounded a bit like her upstairs. I think she's got something wrong with her. She's really heavy-footed. Although Dobbs is pretty. Dobbs is pretty.
Yeah, you can hear him coming.
Jesus, yeah.
So, and no one knows much about the life of Jim Morrison between the ages of 20 and 30.
Bit like Christ, really.
In a way, yeah. They only really know much about, for 7 years.
So when
the last 7 years, but when he joined the Doors, it kind of goes.
When he joined when he was 30.
Yeah, it goes a bit blank how he started the Doors. He went to uni, like at some point.
Really?
Yeah, he studied film.
Right.
Yeah, for some reason, and he must have realised that, women don't sleep with film directors very often apart from on casting calls.
Yeah.
And he was never going to be that big.
No, because he's idiot money. So.
He didn't understand the equipment very well.
Just break it and eat it.
He couldn't play any instruments very well, really.
No.
Yeah.
No, he had no skills.
No.
Couldn't sing.
All and his compositions were all kind of like in his head, and they say on stage he just used to kind of like beatbox it. Like one of them beat poets.
Yeah.
Beatboxing.
Yeah, he had no rhythm.
No, he just they had to kind of adjust to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why the songs are about 8 minutes long, because they have to take that long to sort of try and get a good bit in, because they're trying to catch up with him or slow down to him all the time.
Usually slow down.
Yeah. But whatever it is, but then he'd speed up because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then that's why like LA Woman, there's that bit in the middle where you can just hear him sort of shuffling around in the studio. And they're sort of going, what the fuck are you doing? If you listen really carefully, you just get really frustrated with him. Like, where are you going?
Yeah. He was a force of nature, they say, but do you think that's just because he was very rich?
There is that, and also, like, the force of nature is not necessarily a good thing, is it? Because, like, throwing up's a force of nature, innit? And everything is.
Puking.
Yeah.
Puking is and having a shite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diarrhea is a force of nature.
Would you say everything is?
Yeah.
So it's not really... Doesn't
say anything, does it?
Doesn't say anything. Like me staying in my room all day not talking to anyone, that's a force of nature.
That's a force of your nature.
Yeah. But it's not necessarily belonging to me. It's just, if you kind of like... If you weren't seeing the forest for the trees, and Jim Morrison isn't really, a force of nature. He's just,
well, he is, isn't he? But it doesn't mean anything.
But if you're going to kind of categorise him as something in 2 words, though...
The force of nature is perfect, because even though that's 3 words...
Yeah.
Our force of nature. Yeah, because he doesn't mean anything, and he doesn't mean anything.
But he would just kind of... Yeah.
It's perfect.
Just like the wind.
Yeah.
Just going...
Yeah.
And somehow gathering up some
And
leaves.
they do that. They do that on Riders on the Storm, don't they? They just have some weather.
They do at the beginning, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
so, and at the end, they end it out with a little thunderclap as well, don't they?
Is that supposed
Just
to be
sort
about
of-
a murderer?
Yeah, it's all about some killer on the road. Maybe it's talking about like him, or who he would like to be.
He's not yeah, maybe. He's not sophisticated enough to be a murderer, is
He's
he?
writing it like it's cool though.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he first this girl felt sorry for him. He didn't really intend it, but then he realised that like if he played the sort of sad act, then girls would find him deep, and because he'd been trying a long time trying to do the whole kind of slapping his cock on the table thing, which he did. He took his penis out in class once and slapped it on the table and said like, "Well, look what's for dinner." Like everyone,
Right. And then what happened?
he got kicked out of class and had to go and talk to. And back then they did all the caning and stuff. And his dad he didn't get any of that because his dad was an admiral, and he called it. They called up him, who was friends with some ex-military man who ran the school.
The dean of the school.
Yeah, he was the dean of the school as well. His dad's friend, and basically his dad just gave him a dressing down. But he weren't bothered by that stage.
So would he stand him in the kitchen and just scream in his face for 10 minutes?
And basically like a kind of
Sergeant
joke.
Pyle kind of thing.
Like Bill and Ted's dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like him who sends him off to boot camp.
He keeps threatening him to send him away.
Yeah, he's a bit like that, I imagine.
What's this?
So yeah, he just opened his mouth and something to his dad, and something like came out, and it was like it wasn't particularly hostile. It was just kind of like, he's not interested. A disinterested sort of static came out of Jim Morrison while it was the first time. Usually you just sort of like stand there.
It's like, I'm gonna send you to boot camp, and he went, yay! And that's how it went down.
Yeah, and his dad was like, "All right, what was that?" And that was like one of the early sort of moments. But yeah, this, but that on its own doesn't get you the girls that you want.
No. If any girl saw that
and wanted it,
I think he was an alien.
Yeah, no human being would want to have anything to do with that on its own. That's why you'd have 8 minutes around it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
was it a frame?
Yeah.
To sort of give it some sort of vague context. Because you look at any of the songs, like you said, they're not really about anything, are they?
He actually said once in an interview that the lyrics, are just an accompaniment to the music. Really, he didn't really see any value in it. But it's just he just wants the lyrics to be something to help people get down and have a groove to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the brain tumour thing, no one would say that. That's original. Back then. Because I don't think brain tumours were really in vogue.
No.
He must have seen it somewhere, and he just went "I'm going out. I've got a brain tumour," and then made that noise
Yay!
and then walked out of class. By having that kind of gloom aspect to it, the brain tumour and that
was this.
It kind of that was a blueprint.
Was this pre-Jizz Morrison or?
No, this is post-Jizz. This is
just post-Jizz though.
Around the age of. Towards 15, because he didn't.
15.
Oh, he had a really hard time getting it out in his early masturbation sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Humping the pillow for a good 12 hours, not being able to, and then when he came, he thought he weed himself. Would you say Jim Morrison's retarded in some sense?
Definitely, yeah.
Hello. I love you, won't you tell me your name? Hello, I love you, let me jump in your game.
So anyway, yeah, some girl felt sorry for him, and after that, or at least talked to him.
Yeah.
That was the thing. She talked to him. He realised that she might have done stuff, and he could have got his hand on her crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. He could have turned her into one of his bags of crisps. That's what he's hankering for since he evolved.
Snacks.
Snacks, yeah. Like, so he just wants to become, like, you know, fed.
It's funny as well, isn't it, that he was always into snacks and not like full meals. It's like a short fix.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, there's no real kind of like, you know, there's no real taste.
There's no
to it,
plan.
Yeah,
It's
there's
just
no
like, just gonna have a snack, just gonna have a snack.
Yeah, so he doesn't like layering up food.
No. Doesn't really like being full either. Just like constantly grazing, like cattle. That speaks to how shallow he was, doesn't it? Like, you know, you sort of plan any functioning human would plan the day around 3 meals, whereas he's just walking around looking for snacks all day.
Because he's spoiled. When he was getting to 13 and 15, you know, he's well off, you know. So that should have made girls interested in him at school, but it's surprising that a lot of them weren't, really. And he had to develop this kind of like, you know, well, he didn't really develop it, but he accidentally just sort of drifted into this sort of persona of...
Well, a lot of them do that, don't they? Like Tom Waits and Bob Dylan. They create like this hobo kind of character, and he's like... He's even worse because at least like Bob Dylan and Tom Waits knew like the references, they were kind of literary with it, whereas Jim Morrison just did it as an instinct. It's like it's pretty gross, really. That's sort of like a proto hippie in a way.
It's more like his brain operates more on like a lizard level, doesn't it? Like
He's a lizard king.
Yeah.
He can do anything.
So it's like reptilian sort of like, you know, how you'd look around, see what you've got to eat. See, it's very much in the moment.
Yeah. Cold-blooded.
You wouldn't sort of much call it a persona, but you develop more habits.
Well, he wouldn't have been able to spell persona anyway, would he? So he wouldn't have.
No,
he was totally unaware of this happening. He just sort of fell into it.
He must have read a book with the word, because he started reading them big books, like...
Well, so he says, but I mean, everyone says they read books, don't they? But it doesn't mean they've actually read them.
There's nothing in any of his work that demonstrates that he's ever read a book.
No.
Apart from the fact written in English.
Yeah, and...
Well, most people pick that up, to be fair.
I've never seen video footage of him singing live. That could all just be compiled noises.
It's weird, actually, because I was watching a documentary to research this, and because I've been researching this for weeks, actually, you know, to find everything out.
Yeah.
And so I've watched far too many documentaries on Jim Morrison. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But all the video footage I've seen of him on stage, the words are completely out of sync.
Yeah.
And it's like they've just put the music on after.
Yeah, I think it's all just garbled nonsense that they've somehow managed to sort of cut together and make it.
He went on the only one where he does is on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he was he singing live.
Oh well, he was on telly.
Yeah,
but like there's proof that he was singing it live because he went on the Ed Sullivan Show, whatever that was. It was Ed Sullivan's show. Ed Sullivan ad. Whoever that is, but he must have been like Terry Wogan, but in America,
or
like Jules Holland,
Dale Winton, or someone,
but American. Yeah. So like he's like Ed Sullivan didn't want some lyric in about girls getting high. You know, like baby, we can't get much higher. He didn't want that lyric, and he said like baby, we can't get much better. How about change it to that just for television because we don't want drug references. And then Jim Morrison like when was like sure man, yeah. And then like purely on instinct, like when he was on stage, he just sang higher. Yeah, because he forgot. Yeah. More than anything, he wasn't being like
malicious.
I don't believe so.
He didn't have a malicious bone in his body, did he? Really?
No, he was just kind of like drifting along, really.
Yeah.
You know,
just
like
an idiot,
a moron.
Yeah.
There was a few malicious things he might have done to women.
Yeah,
but not maliciously.
Nothing in a high pressure situation like that. He wouldn't have been able to go, oh, guess what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to say higher instead of better.
I wouldn't say he was malicious, more kind of cruel, but not in a sort of thought out way.
In the way that like a chimp's cruel.
Yeah, like a caveman sort of like might stamp on a bug.
Or like, you know, like chimps laugh when they're killing other animals. And
Yeah.
like that kind of cruel.
Yeah, like he laughs, he you know, because he gets the adrenaline rush and he gets more cruel.
Yeah, so like if...
So he just kind of goes on a roll with it.
Yeah, like when someone's being executed, there's that moment of ecstasy, isn't there? There's that kind of like giddy endorphin high. It's like that.
Yeah.
It's an involuntary laugh, isn't it?
It's
really?
like, yeah, and then he just took it a long distance.
Yeah.
More maniacal than anything, like,
Yeah.
you know, like a sort of Renwick from Dracula.
Yeah.
You know, just follows along, eats spiders and stuff. Yeah, so he was on the Ed Sullivan Show and he did all that, singing.
Mm.
Sang it the way that he wrote it in his head. And Ed Sullivan said to him, like, you're never coming on the Ed Sullivan Show again. And then Jim Morrison said, we are on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very in the moment, very very matter of fact, in directing
You can't refute that.
Yeah.
Like,
and then he went, yay, yay, and everyone walked out. Because he was just happy that he'd been on telly, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he was thinking about how many little snacks he's going to get now.
Yeah.
You know, like, there was probably some snacks backstage.
in the green room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he'd had a snack before he went on. At this stage, he was in Snack City. Just like shagging all these girls. You know, like, but not shagging, more like just sort of like snacking on the cheek, like rubbing his cheek against theirs, like that, like a cat. You know, like, and sitting on the head.
Yeah.
I think he liked that.
Sitting on their head.
You know, like rimming.
I don't think he liked anything. I think that's a bit much.
He had it done what?
He preferred things.
Yeah. He had it done once and then he just sort of did it more.
He just got used to it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a ritual, sort of like, it's like comforting, but not necessarily like pleasurable.
I think there was one deliberate choice in his life.
What was that?
I do the voice.
Yeah.
I think these days in the States you have to be a politician or an assassin or something to really be a superstar. It's an interesting thing to say, that. Do you think that was a deliberate thought in some ways?
I think
he thought about it in a way, didn't he? Or was it just on the fly?
I think everything was on the fly, wasn't it, really? Just sometimes. I mean, imagine all of the quotes that didn't make it to Wikipedia that were just fucking nonsense. Like, that's sort of a sentence, but when you look at it, it doesn't mean anything, does it?
Well, how would an assassin superstar is interesting though? Like, a kind of like, you'd see him coming, wouldn't you? You know, like if you were going to get assassinated by like Craig
Is that what
David.
he said? An assassin superstar?
And the only way to be a superstar in the States...
Do the voice.
The only way to be a superstar in the States is to be a No, I didn't say it in that order, but yeah, you have to be a politician or an assassin or something.
Right.
Or something.
But all of those things are superstars in his eyes.
It's like you have to be a superstar, to sense a superstar, you have to be an assassin or a politician. So I wonder if he means assassin like literally an assassin or a metaphorical assassin. You know, like if he's operating on some level of poetry.
Literally an assassin.
Like someone like who shoots people.
It'll have just been around like Kennedy getting shot or something, won't it? And he'll just be like, yeah.
So you have to actually shoot a politician in order to become a superstar.
So he's talking like either or, isn't he?
Do you reckon he's quoting someone that he spoke to somewhere else?
Misquoting someone, probably.
Yeah, you know, like I sometimes talk to you and then I'll go off and like say something you said.
Oh, the other way around, yeah, I'll pass off one of your ideas as mine.
Yeah.
I've got some of his quotes here, this is good.
Go on then.
Nobody understands you better than yourself, but if someone tries to do it is because he loves you.
It's all very... a life is like a garden, except in memory. It's interesting stuff, yeah. So, Jim Morrison...
Nobody understands you better than yourself, but if someone tries to do it, is because he loves you.
Yeah, so it's not even grammatically sort of like...
No, someone's posted that.
It's hard to understand anything he says, to be fair. here's another thing he said about when he lived inside an apartment block when he first started the Doors.
Right.
But he said that he was living in this abandoned office.
Yeah.
But maybe that's
weird
what
lie, innit?
Yeah, it's an exaggeration because the building used to be an abandoned office. Like, if you met him, there's a chance you would be taken along with it for a bit.
Well, yeah. There's lots of fellas that we know that are a bit like that. Kind of like...
Yeah.
They probably have got pictures of Jim Morrison on the wall. I know one fella who's got a picture of that pose, and he's like, he's doing like the Christ pose, you know, that famous Jim Morrison pose, with his arms outstretched. But then, weirdly, there's like another image of him superimposed with his arms down. So there's like, he's like looking right down the lens, and he's got his hair down long, and you know him, and it's well weird. It's in his room.
Oh, you have to tell.
That small picture, I'll tell you. Yeah,
yeah, I'll have to know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if he's still got a picture, but it's sick.
Was it pre-moustache?
Yeah, but he's got a beard.
So anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, when he lived in the apartment block, there wasn't an abandoned office. This was when he first started writing Doors music,
right?
But it came to him more shamanistically, you know, because he had that kind of like method to him. It's like you're like an idiot savant, and you know, little kind of beeps and bops are going on in your head, and you're just going,
can't help it.
And he just like visualized himself on stage, you know, like he was hungry, I think, and he was hungry for more women than anything.
Yeah.
So he just moved to a new city, and he's sort of visualizing himself on stage, and all these like beeping lights around him, and well, they weren't that interesting. It was more like a kind of like guitar that was going. He
does sound like that though. That's exactly how he sounds.
And that's the best impression we've done.
Yeah.
So he just imagined all this. Yeah, he just imagined, and then like wrote some words to it. And this is what he said. He said, "I heard in my head a whole concert situation." Sorry. I heard in my head a whole concert situation.
Concert situation is weird, isn't it?
Like with a band, an audience of sexy girls. A large audience of sexy girls.
Oh, it's lunchtime. Did you have breakfast this morning? You did? What'd you have? What's wrong with being fat?
And eventually he got a girlfriend called Pam something, Corson, I think. And they were kind of married, but they weren't. And they were in what they stated is a sort of open relationship. And she was a lot like him in some ways, you know, kind of like, but she was more like that because she was constantly on drugs and didn't know where she was.
You'd have to be though, wouldn't you?
What, to be going out with him all the time in an open relationship?
Living with him.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he just... I don't think he was really there.
No.
You're more like a kind of pet or something. But one with no top on.
That's just eating crisps.
and you.
Yeah.
Now and again.
Yeah.
Just like kind of...
When he's remembered who you are.
We'll kind of just like kind of come over and kind of start like licking you and rubbing his head against your thighs.
Yeah.
It's like going... And you'd have to ruffle his hair up and like... here you go.
Listen to his poetry.
Yeah.
Let's read some more of his poems.
Oh yeah, I'm quite interested in that.
Cease negative mental chattering. If you think a thing is possible, you'll make it possible. Pessimism blunts the tools you need to succeed.
It's a bit... is that...
Yeah. It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
there's a few big words in there, isn't there?
Yeah, no, that was Bruce Lee. That actually made sense.
And like it's good advice, really, I suppose, if you're Bruce Lee.
So this is actually Jim Morrison. It's got quite a nice picture of him there. He's looking like he's actually thinking.
I see myself as
an intelligent, sensitive human with the soul of a clown, which forces me to blow it at the most important moments.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What does he mean? So forces him to blow it? Not in this. I'm not. Yeah, it sounds dirty, but it's not. It just means a soul of a clown. So he thought he was funny.
He wasn't funny, was he?
Or is he talking about art-heard sort of performative aspect of being a clown. You know, like in a sort of theatre of absurd way.
Like a Buffon kind of clown.
Yeah, like if he was walking down the street or something and you saw him.
Well, that's not what he was doing.
You might laugh at him on the street.
No, he wasn't doing that.
You would laugh at him on the street though if you saw him.
I'd probably call him a bellend, yeah.
Wouldn't just be laughing
into
at
a fight
him.
with him.
Jim Morrison did this thing once when, you know, like in that photo shoot, they call it the Young Lion photo shoot, one you were talking about earlier. He did this thing where he like he put a white t-shirt on at first, had a few photos with that on, and then like went like he put a black t-shirt on for a bit.
Yeah. It's not
Just
good
like
enough, is it?
to change it round.
It's not good enough,
like,
is it?
So you wanted a photo with like no, it's a funny one, isn't it?
I think he put a white t-shirt on, and then realised that made him look fat. So then he put a black t-shirt on, and that made him look slightly less fat, but still fat.
I did take my top off and have a picture taken once.
Oh, did you? That's nice. Is that for any purpose other than...
Yeah, some girl messaged me. She messaged loads of people and said like, where is your heart? And like, you know, like, and I just sort of like...
What'd she say?
Where's your heart? And it was for an art project she was doing it, something like that.
Yeah.
Where's your heart? And I was like, right, it's around the rib cage kind of area.
Yeah, sort of off to the left slightly.
Exactly where it was.
Yeah.
And then I wrote some big spiel as well, you know, like being a bit wanky. I could probably find the picture actually.
No, I'm alright.
Like one day.
Yeah.
And I was a lot younger. I don't know, it might look fit now if I look at it, rather than at the time when I was like, oh no, why am I doing this? And then I had to go around the house.
Was it for like a sexual thing or?
No, she had a boyfriend and stuff. And I had to go around the house and then like they wrote on my chest in like a felt tip pen, and then I had to have a picture taken. And then I wrote a big spiel afterwards, which was a bit more like, kind of like, you know, a bit waffly.
What was the gist of that?
Can't remember. I could probably look it up later.
Okay.
I bet it's better than, even though I don't think it's very good, it's better than Jim Morrison and anything that he wrote.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, I would rate Dan Lizar over Jim Morrison.
It's close. Because the thing is with Jim Morrison, I don't think he's lying.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what was the end product? What did they end up doing?
Just a photo of me with my top off with some drawing on my chest.
And did it go in an exhibition or?
Don't think so, no. Probably just in a portfolio or something.
You're on someone's hard drive somewhere.
Well, yeah. Ugh.
It's a bit seedy, isn't it?
It's horrible, that.
Yeah. It's not seedy for Jim Morrison though, is it? You know.
No, he's on a lot of hard drives now.
Yeah, sort of like a bit of an enchanted brave, really, isn't he? In a weird sort of way. That's how he'd see himself anyway, because he's into like all that Indian, Native American stuff, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So.
He believed that dead Indians were freaking out in his soul. That's
nice,
good, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he said that they were freaking out. Somewhere, like some dead Indian, he said that as well. He said dead red Indian. Like, because he saw what, because, you know, he didn't really, he liked the romance of it,
so
more than anything.
He'd met the souls of Native Americans, and even they got it wrong and called themselves Indians.
He thought they were the biggest, like, freaks in history, like, in the sort of, like, hippie term freaks, you know, like, it's like, you know, they were, you know, proper against, like, they were like him in some way. So he's actually being quite condescending towards an entire culture by saying that.
Yeah, he was saying that they're deliberately sort of trying to be anti-establishment when they're not. They're the opposite of that, aren't they?
And he said that back then, like, no matter what age you were, you could be a shaman. Like, some civilizations, you know, some tribes would have... I suppose they are civilizations to an extent, aren't they? Just a lot smaller.
Yeah.
But he said that you could be a shaman at the age of like 2, and he was saying this while he was smoking a cigar. But he loved all the Native Americans, did Jim Morrison, like, and you know, that idea of like nature and all that, and just like the idea of like
the
being
sort of
very
postcard version of Red Indians.
Yeah, he
it's
loved
really...
all this. He romanticised that a lot. He kind of saw it more. He didn't. like look back on Native American history and think there was anything, you kind of had this idea there was no killing going on back then.
Yeah.
It's just people going on like mystic kind of walks in the desert, kind of going like
looking at goat skulls and going, oh.
Yeah. But he didn't care about all the, that some of the shamans would have had pretty bad ideas, like they were a bit wonky. He didn't really think much depth into it, really. He just liked the imagery, like how I say I'm a Christian, like that.
Yeah, it's like when you go around to someone's house and they've got like bad Aztec shit on the wall and stuff like that. It's just like that, really, isn't it?
It's bad taste, really. Like he had
it's just
bad
no
taste.
taste. It's no taste. It's the first thing. He probably did see like a Native American fella like working in a supermarket, but in his mind he's changed it into like Dead by the Road or whatever he saw. And then that's the first thing he remembers, and then that colours everything because he can't remember anything else.
Yeah.
So then everything's Red Indian in it.
He wouldn't want to be a minority.
No.
By any means, because like he thinks being white is sexy.
Yeah.
I don't think, and I've got like I don't know. You know about musicians.
Yeah.
So, are any of these women black?
Go on.
Nico, she's not, is she?
White.
Grace Slick,
White.
Janis Joplin,
White.
and the open relationship with Pamela Corson,
White.
and all his fans, white.
White. Because it's the most white music that was ever made, I think.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like Frank Sinatra, but like
yeah.
not good.
Yeah, it's kind of like crooning a little bit. And no black people like Frank Sinatra, do they?
Maybe one would, like the guy at a block party.
No, he wouldn't because he's gay.
Is he?
Yeah, he wouldn't like Jim Morrison.
No, maybe not. Maybe he'd actually hate him more than we do.
Yeah. He's black and gay. It's doubly against the Doors.
Jim Morrison would be really against him.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, maybe if that Kelly guy from Block Party does like the Doors, he should think again.
You want to compare biceps?
So maybe there is like a kind of, it was trendy then back then to be a bit retarded.
I think it
Sign
isn't
of the
anymore.
times, yeah.
It isn't anymore.
No, and it's a shame, isn't it, in a way, because they're quite good sometimes for a bit.
It's like a little moment in the best version of it is have you seen when what's his name, Oliver Reed comes on Aspel and he starts doing that drunk dancing.
Yeah.
That's like there's a moment of that where it's dead good, but it's for about 5 seconds. That's Jim Morrison.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's Jim Morrison, but stretched over 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
But that if you could slow it down and stretch it out for 40 years, that's what it would sound like.
What moment in Jim Morrison's life is a bit where the pants actually proper fall down? And then which bits are one where he pulls them up and sits back down again?
I think when he comes for the first time, it's when his pants fall down. And then when he pulls them back up again is when he dies.
Would you say it like him going on stage was like him ejaculating?
Trying to ejaculate, but never. He struggled with that, didn't he?
Yeah. He liked oral sex because girls would initiate that, so you wouldn't have to do anything.
And also, there's no pleasure for the woman then either, is there?
No. Well, yeah, it's more like he's just being treated.
It's a snack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and he was in the toilet. This is before the indecent exposure stuff.
Oh, is this the really, really bad shit?
Yeah, so this is like him at a concert, and he there's some girl, who was like, gonna go and see him or something. Like, I suppose she can't be that big of a fan, really, because she didn't want to have sex with him.
No.
But then you don't have to want that to be a fan of someone. Like, I like a lot of people, but I don't want to have sex with them. So like, he sort of went up to her in the toilet, or like dragged her into a toilet or something, and then she maced him in the eyes, and then like ran off.
It's a good shot, wasn't it?
Cool, yeah. Yeah, and then he's all like kind of fucking bitch, like, or just like, he's not happy. He's just
Cunt!
Yeah. So he'd just be like, just sort of stepping out like that with all his teeth everywhere. Like kind of
looking his best,
walking out of, feeling the tiles of a sort of
leather pants, no shirt, squinting.
And a policeman, he comes up and, after finding out about it, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
So she's gone to the police.
She's found some policeman. It might have just been a security guard.
And he's just staggering around in a corridor shouting cunt.
Yeah. So. And then with mace coming off his face, so it's obvious it was him. And, he looks like the type. And this guy's just like, he's probably not a policeman, he might just be a security guard going like, "Look, mate, sort yourself out."
Yeah.
And he's coming up to you in like a sort of like grimy tiled toilet, like covered in shit.
Yeah.
The walls
trying to sell
covered
you
in
soap.
shit. Okay.
Trying to sell you soap from his basement.
Yeah.
Just hanging in it.
Yeah. Did Jim Morrison believe the world was flat, or was he not bothered one way or the other?
I don't think he'd even thought about it once, had he?
No. He wouldn't care.
No.
He wasn't interested in space.
No, not at all. There was nothing cosmic about him, was there?
None of his lyrics refer to like astral bodies.
No, they're all quite pedestrian. They're all like about being on a road or being on a street or being in like a little village.
And like that fun fairs and stuff.
Yeah, it's like maybe it all takes place in the same little weird village in his head. And he can't think beyond that. It's like some dome over it.
Yeah, like just a weird little kind of
Santa Parks kind of thing.
Yeah, but with like a crash car in one tree.
Yeah, like, it's got its own little zones of danger.
It's got its own little. You could probably map it. You could draw a map of it, and it one
very,
A4
very
piece
small,
of paper.
Yeah, very small village.
So he goes on stage, and finally, disorientated, like blinded on stage, and he just sort of announced to all his like his pies that like the pigs were gonna shut down this gig. Like everything's gonna like we're closing this situation down. So even in the sort of like state of blindness, this is kind of like the usability of him. It's sort of amazing, really. Like why he's so amazing.
Well, what I think's really interesting about that is that he made it on stage because he couldn't see, which shows you that they were just propping up this retard on stage every night and making him do these things for snacks. Like someone obviously put him on stage. Maybe someone fed him that line as well, to sort of help him process it.
Maybe, yeah.
One of the other doors.
Yeah, or a manager or someone like Frank Zappa or someone like who's around everyone apparently. Like someone would have said, "Just say that, man."
Touch the earth, not to touch the sun. Nothing left to do but run, let's run. Are we in T? E? House up on a hill, a moon is lying still, shadow on a tree.
But he had trouble ejaculating. Maybe that was all about the opening of the third eye.
That's why the songs were so long as well. That was another just trouble, failure to
conclude. Yeah.
Well, maybe that was the
that could be the problem.
Yeah, the confusion because like some of the children that he slept with might have thought that he can fuck for hours, but in his head he was thinking, I just want to come, and there's a complete contradiction there, isn't there? So there's like people who like Jim Morrison and the Doors think, he's cool because his songs are 18 minutes long, but him, he's just trying to come. The whole thing about ejaculating is that you're at complete sort of ease with yourself, but if you were confused by everything that was going on around you, it'd be distracting.
Do you think he was more confused while having sex than when he wasn't?
No, I don't think it made any difference. I think he was just confused all the time. By everything.
And Janis Joplin hit Morrison over the head with a bottle of whiskey. This was at some like party at.
He must have done something pretty bad because she was an alcoholic. So
he's trying to finger her.
Right.
You know, like, because he had them, like, kind of thick, stubby fingers.
Yeah.
You know, that he couldn't play an instrument with.
Yeah.
And, so he was
Like,
proper, like, kind of, like, you know, like at a
fingers
party.
like spare ribs.
In a basement.
Yeah.
In his basement, he was trying to finger her, just going like, yeah. And Clint Eastwood was there. And he walked into the basement and sort of like saw him doing it.
Yeah.
And then Jim Morrison went like, "Fuck off!"
Yeah. What did Clint Eastwood just turn around and walk out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he remembers.
Yeah.
He was just. But
Just sort of
Janis
squinted
Joplin
and walked out.
He walked out and then went into the kitchen, like you know, like where it was really messy and like lit up a cigarette, and then like he opened up the fridge quite calmly and pulled out another beer and like cracked it open.
Yeah.
And then like took a little swig and went like, and then like someone went like,
good God.
Good God. And then some guy, can't be bothered to think of a celebrity, like said to him like, "Hey, what's wrong? Are you alright, Clint?"
Michael York.
Yeah, I'll do. Michael, was he around then?
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael York was over from England because he was filming The Three Musketeers there.
He's filming, what's it called? That one where they die when they're 30.
That was way later.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that's 77, that, yeah. So he's filming Three Musketeers, which might have been later.
What year was this?
This would be around 1969.
Okay.
So, like, and Michael York's just like, "Are you alright, Clint?" Clint Eastwood looks over and he doesn't even know who Michael York is, and it's just like, but he's polite, like, he's just kind of like, "There's some little late fingering Janis Joplin in there, she doesn't like it."
She's laying on a bed of soap.
Yeah. It's verbatim quote that.
Yeah, she's laying on a bed of soap.
She's laying on a bed of soap.
And Michael York goes into the basement, you know, like, with a couple of, like, people. And Jim Morrison's just, like, conked out on the floor. And Janis Joplin's drinking a bottle of whiskey. And there's an indent in the sort of, like, skull of Jim Morrison.
Yeah. Because it would have been soft.
Yeah, so and then it's sort of ready to pop back up in a few hours, and then he'll wake up.
It could sort of reach in round the back of the roof of his mouth and pop it back out,
and then he's awake again. But they decided not to do that. Yeah,
that's pretty bad, isn't it? I mean, she had enough problems in her life, Janis Joplin. She didn't need to be.
She died in 1974, I think.
Yeah.
And you can't help but think it might be related to all that.
Certainly didn't help, did it?
I think it would have been good if Clint Eastwood had helped her, to be fair, and it's weird that he didn't, you know. Cause
he's an actor, isn't he? But he doesn't do anything that he does in his films.
You never hear about him, like, you know, like Russell Crowe has a fight in a toilet.
Yeah.
But, like, Clint Eastwood doesn't have a fight in a basement. He wouldn't stop someone from being raped. He'd tell Michael York about it and walk out of the party and spit on the floor.
At least Michael York was a gentleman, came down with a couple of fellas to try and sort it out. I mean, he was too late, but...
So yeah, he had that, and it's interesting that he managed to keep a girlfriend, but like we said earlier, it's one that's.
Why did he go to? Did he go to die in Paris? Is that right?
He wanted to get away from the feds. He said.
Right.
You know, because they were on his case about the indecent exposure on stage and the rapes as well, and all these paternity cases were rising up. I mean, I'm always on the side of the victims in this sort of
yeah,
thing,
of course,
really.
and it's like the thing is what he'd by sheer luck, and he didn't mean to do it. He put himself in a position where it was his word against theirs, and because he had his dad's money and his celebrity, he was able to get as much white pie as he wanted.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the sad reality of him, really. He's a serial rapist.
That's really what he is, but he wouldn't think of himself that way because he didn't really think.
No.
Most men in their 20s would have, like, have their Jim Morrison moments, I think. Right. But, he was, like, 30-something, like, when he was having his.
Yeah, we don't know what he did in his 20s, do we?
No, probably worse than what we did.
It's like when someone lives in one city and then decides to move and just appears in another city it can kind of be who they want to be, can't they? They don't have to. They don't have to have any consistency or justify anything.
No.
They can just strut around in like cowboy boots or something.
Yeah.
And just
tight pants.
Just act the tit.
Yeah.
Really.
And then like kind of form around a group of like people similar to you.
Yeah, like sort of Dr. Caligari's kind of offcuts.
Yeah.
Like they look a bit like him, but they've got like a B for a head or something, or
they're called grub.
they're called grub, yeah, something like that.
Like sort of like
Or like the head's on upside down or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
They look like a beef pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a mouth.
And
like a steak pudding for a mouth.
and
Big gelatinous steak pudding for a mouth.
because it's a bit annoying when I did that. I moved from Doncaster, but it's different because I moved to a big city to sort of seek my fortune. But it's weird when you move from Florida or say London to like Venice Beach or say Manchester. Yeah.
It's weird when there's seemingly no connection to the place that you moved to as well. I think.
Yeah.
Like you could understand you moving from Doncaster to here because, I mean, why would you want to live in Doncaster?
This is the thing, yeah.
Was he
Which
born
I
in
think-
Venice Beach, Jim Morrison?
No, Florida.
Florida. And he
so-
moved to Venice Beach.
Yeah. And just sort of like grooved around.
Yeah.
And went into pie shops and like sandwich places and went like, "You all right, mate?" Like in a really thick Cockney accent. "You all right, ladies?"
Yeah, just sort of like that's not a Cockney accent. But yeah. All right, ladies.
When he was really young, like Jim Morrison liked pressing his eyeballs in, so you could.
Is that why he looked like that?
Yeah, so he as a teenager he used to do that. So you can get all the weird Doctor Who sort of colours kind of going on.
That's actually what he thought the doors to perception were.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do?
How did he die? Right, so he died he got very fat and, like he was grazing all day on food, but he wasn't like grazing on any sort of like,
Not much white pie.
no white pies. And then he ended that's so horrible. So he didn't get enough white pie, as you say it. And
So when you're saying it, you don't say it. Is that what you mean?
when I say it, it's like I'm saying it because you said it first.
Isn't that true of all words, though?
Yeah, but it's like, you've defined white pie in the narrative now as...
Well, you were the first
works.
one to note that he was he didn't have any black fans or wasn't with any black women. So I was just free associating.
And it works with the fact that he thinks of snacks a lot, and women as snacks. But at this point, he wasn't thinking of snacks in terms of like pies, women. Because I suppose a white pie wouldn't be a snack so much, would it? I guess it is if it...
Yeah. That's why he was so fat.
Yeah.
You don't have a pie as a snack. Well, I do. But you don't have a white pie as a snack.
He wouldn't have a pie and chips and peas. No. He would just have a pie. He'd stop at a fish and chips and like get the sort of like
He'd stop at every
pie.
Single sandwich and fish and chip shop.
Getting a
pie to carry him to the next shop.
But when he was doing that with like white pie, then he kind of like you're not getting fat so much, but he'd still have his snacks, but he did.
Well, he wasn't getting enough white pie at the end. That was the problem.
Well, that's why he was on stage going like, "You want to see my dick?" Because he was getting fat and not looking like the young lion photo shoot that he was before.
Yeah.
And like his girlfriend actually around that time became pregnant, and he was really pissed off about that.
Yeah.
See, I don't think he ever wanted children. So he went off to Paris with his pregnant wife because he was worried about the feds. And he had a little kind of like, look at the Eiffel Tower and stuff, like couldn't be bothered to go up it.
No.
He didn't
really understand what up was, did he?
No.
You
No,
know what I mean?
I don't think he'd ever been up anything.
No.
Like, really.
No.
Not voluntarily.
No, he'd been on a stage. That's probably as far up as
Up
he'd
a
been.
stage. It might have been on a plane as well.
Yeah, but he didn't know that he was going up when he was on a plane. He just got
No.
on a plane and then
Had a little sleep.
got off it and it was like, right. Because the thing is, you got to remember, is the Jim Morrison village in his head. He still thinks he's still in like a sort of 100-mile
100,
square.
yeah. Oh, so he doesn't just write his songs within that area. But it's
No,
not like
he
a subconscious
doesn't just-
space, but it's actually conscious.
It's like when you were talking about So it's like when you're talking about flat Earth before. He doesn't think about whether the Earth's flat or round because he doesn't have any concept of anywhere other than where he can see
Wearing a vest all the time.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Showing off his fat arms and
Yeah.
stupid head. His weird sort of like weird shit head.
Weird kind of like someone's drawn a picture of Zeus, but on the side of a barm cake. And left it in the rain for a bit. Put shades on it.
Never shaved it.
No, not properly.
No.
So what happened when after he looked at the Eiffel Tower and
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
sort of moved to Paris and
Yeah.
went around, like into bakeries.
went to boulangeries going, "Alright, ladies!"
And just eating croissants.
Yeah.
Like not really understanding what they are, just wondering where the paste was inside.
Yeah.
And got incredibly fat. His heart was kind of going a bit. He took a big long bath
Yeah.
like one night, and never got out.
Yeah.
And that's
Thankfully, that was the end of him.
so. What would you say in conclusion? I don't
Well,
know.
it's like the
Have we
most-
already concluded it at the beginning.
The worst thing about him is obviously what he did while he was alive, but almost as bad as that is his legacy, because there's all of these
People who
all
like
these
him.
fellas who want to be him, just walking around thinking they're Jim Morrison when they don't really know what they're aspiring to be. What they're
No.
aspiring to be is subhuman,
a slow life subhuman like
rapist.
Pokemon blob.
Yeah,
Just sort of interesting, isn't
just
it?
stop it. Like that would be my advice. That just actually sit down, see how far you can get through LA Woman. Just don't be a passenger in your own life.
Yeah.
You know, would be my advice.
But also like girls, a lot of girls
Oh, I
look
forgot
up to
about them,
a lot of girls. Yeah, you forgot about them, but a lot of girls look up to Jim Morrison or think that he had some sort of poetic soul or something like that. But get a life basically and start fancying the right men.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to say. That look, them fashion choices just aren't very good.
No.
And anyone who follows towards a sort of hippie fashion aesthetic is wrong. And what you've got to realise is these people from the 60s, not just Jim Morrison, but
It's
all
not
of them.
It's not anti-fashion, is it? It's a-fashionable. It's not.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
Like the anti-fashion is there's at least there's a thought process into it.
Mm.
Walking around in a vest where you got out grunting.
That's not anti-fashion. That's Rabsy Nesbitt.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it doesn't look like Jim Morrison either,
no.
because Jim Morrison had tight trousers on, a shit shirt, and cowboy boots. Maybe I don't know what shoes did he wear. Little.
No, I don't reckon he wore shoes because his feet were very much like his hands, so incredibly calloused, and so he didn't need to really wear shoes, much in the same way that he didn't need to wear.
Well, he didn't need to wear condoms.
No. No, and he didn't. No.
He didn't.
No.
It's interesting that a lot of men, don't want to wear a condom as well, and Jim Morrison was one of them kind of men who'd be but it don't feel like nothing. I could say that, but in a different voice probably, or just sort of hiss it.
Yeah.
And I mean, always, I always be suspicious of people like that. Or if you're a man and a woman says, you know, like, you know, you don't have to wear a condom, and just sort of say, like...
Just leave, I would say,
just
immediately.
leave. And in fact, actually, just don't have sex anyway, because it's, like, it's not very good.
It's not polite, is it?
No. It's uncouth, and it's not very fun. It's old hat. It's like...
What are you playing at?
basically, like... Jim Morrison and everybody, you kind of thrown
They've ruined
into...
it for everyone, haven't they?
Yeah.
Like, it's been done to death.
You need a new sandbox activity,
Yeah.
really, like, for your little, like, kind of, you know, little imaginary A4 map.
Just need a new hobby.
Mm.
You know, collect stamps or...
Mm.
I don't know any other hobbies.
Start with a brain tumour,
Yeah.
and then end with the Doors.
Yeah.